Welcome. Let's start in a comfy child's pose. You might stretch your knees as wide as the mat and reach the arms out far. Let the sitting bones remain heavy and let the heart sink toward the floor. Maybe you can walk your fingers out even farther. Let the armpits stretch. And then we'll walk it over to the right. Keep both sitting bones heavy and use that left arm in particular to stretch your low left back. Maybe surprise yourself with how far you can come. Walking back through center, let's take it over to the left. Sitting bones remain heavy. And surprise yourself with just how far you can walk over to the left, using that right arm, right fingers especially, tracking all the way down the right low back for a deep, deep stretch. Taking it back to center. And then stretching the wrists and forearms by pointing the fingers to the knees. You can lean back a little bit, maybe make circles here. Do what feels right to stretch your wrists and forearms. Then stretching the right leg, extend it long, and put so much pressure on the hands, you almost lift up this left knee. Maybe you do lift up the left knee. Stretch down through your right Achilles and the calf. You might pulse up and down, feeling really satisfying stretch of that leg. And we'll switch it. Left leg long, toes tucked. Send weight down through the heel, pushing so high up through the hips that the right knee comes up off the ground. You can pulse it back. Feel the Achilles, the calf opening. And peel onto your right knee, extend the left leg, and lift the left arm up high for a modified Ardha Chandrasana. Left leg parallel to the floor. Keep that foot flexing. Lift high up through your heart. Stay strong in the right shoulder. And feel as though you could lift some weight off of the bottom palm. Then roll it right back to center and onto the left knee. Right leg extends, right arm reaching high up to the ceiling for Ardha Chandrasana, sort of kneeling, lifting the right leg high. Keep that foot flexed. Maybe you can lift it even higher than parallel. And stretch the heart up and open, lifting up and out of that left shoulder. Maybe even taking some weight off the bottom palm. And roll it right back down. And give yourself cat-cow, 3 of them. Coming to an inhale, lift the sitting bones, lift the gaze. And on the exhale, empty the belly, round the spine, tuck everything. Find the edge of the breath in each of these movements. Exaggerate them. Really empty that belly, really stretch out the back. Really lift the sitting bones high up, peel them out of your hamstrings. Let these feel luxurious. And come back to all fours and gaze over your right shoulder to the right hip. And then left shoulder to left hip. And then if you feel to, gaze over the right shoulder again. Left shoulder again. And slide up onto the right knee. Lifting left leg parallel. Come back to that Ardha Chandrasana. Maybe deepening now by bending left knee, grabbing hold of that foot or ankle for a low down wheat stalk pose. Can you tilt your heart to the ceiling? Can you take that left foot far away from your body? Peel up onto your left knee. Start in Ardha Chandrasana. You might stay here, but if you want to, you can deepen. Bend the knee, grab hold of the foot or ankle. Take the foot as far away from your body as you can and spin the heart up toward the sky. How open can you get? How free can you feel? We'll come on to all fours, tucking toes, sending hips up high, and finding our downward facing dog. Possibly taking this time to set your intention for the practice. Send something out into the world. Could be for yourself, could be for somebody else. But dedicate your practice to this intention. Making any movements you like to in downward facing. Make it feel like yours. Then we'll shift into plank, gaze out into the distance. See if you can balance on your left hand, take your right hand to half prayer at the heart. Good. Stay as straight as you can. Try opposite side. Left hand into the heart. Half prayer. Stay strong, and then full plank. See See if you can kick your left or right leg up high. Keep it pretty straight. Keep the hips straight. And then try it on the left side. Can you straighten the leg? Can you lift it even higher? Stay strong in the belly. And then lower all the way to the ground. Take a baby cobra, lifting the heart. And coming back onto knees. Give yourself child's and rest the shoulders, taking the arms alongside the body. Soften here, breathing to the back ribs. Taking hands to the mat and finding downward facing dog. Let's kick the right leg high and then step it all the way through. Keep the hands on the ground, send the heart forward, let the hip flexors open, and then straighten that right leg, bow over it. Let's rock back and forth a little bit. Bent knees, straight leg. Bent right knee, straight right leg. And then bend the right knee, rock it back, and find a lifted lunge. Legs firm, strong, arms lifting. Feel lifted through your torso. Tuck enough through the tailbone so you can flatten the low back. And then hands will frame this right foot. Take a little hop forward, left foot. Square your hips, let the heart beam forward, and find a forward fold here. You might choose to use the breath to wave down your leg. Every breath is progress. And sometimes it isn't, and that's okay too. Let's come back to plank. Chaturanga. Come all the way to the ground. Take a higher cobra this time. Open. And find child's. Release. Let go. Tucking toes. Send the hips on high. And find downward facing. Kicking the left leg up. Bend that knee deeply, squeeze it in, and place the foot between the hands. Keep the fingertips on the ground and let the hips sink pretty low. Right hip flexor opens especially. And then we'll start rocking it forward and back. On the way back, straightening that left leg, bowing into a quick fold. And then bending the leg deeply, letting the hip flexors really open. And rock it back and forth with breath. Sweet, slow opening here. Eventually bend that left knee. Keep the legs firm. Find your lifted lunge. Stay strong through the legs. Squeeze the thighs together. Tuck the tail enough to flatten back. Lift up high. Suck the ribs in. Shoulders open. And then hands float to the mat, framing the foot. Top the right foot through. Straighten left leg. Square hips. Pull yourself out of the pelvis. Get long in the side ribs and then bow for the forward fold. Option to stay still there or to wave down, lengthening the spine with every breath. Eventually, stepping right to your plank. Exhale, Chaturanga, Dandasana, into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog if you're ready for it. Thighs up off the ground, shoulder heads all the way back. Finish that movement and come back to Downward Facing Dog. Soft knees, come up high onto the balls of the feet. Gaze forward and step or hop to hands. Flatten and fold. And then inhale with a flat back all the way up to stand. Palms touch overhead and hands move into the heart. The top of your mat, you might separate feet hips distance. Look at the side body stretch in. Taking right hand to right hip. Send the left arm up and over to the right side. And as you stretch in, maybe tilt the heart up to the ceiling, even lift your gaze. Switching sides, left hand, left hip, right arm up and over. And breathe into the stretch, eventually tilting the heart up to the ceiling, lifting your gaze, tracking this arm behind the ear line if you can. And we'll stand at the top of the mat, hands in heart center for a Surya A. Inhale, swoop the arms up overhead, and exhale, swan dive for Uttanasana. Inhale, peel the heart out and up, and then exhale, step or hop. Find your plank or chaturanga, rolling through the vinyasa. This could mean dropping knees, chin, chest for you. If you feel any compromise in your low back or weak in your abdominals, definitely opt for the dropping knees. We'll finish by stepping or hopping to the top of the mat, flatten and fold. And inhale all the way up to stand, reach it up, get long, and hands move to the heart. Bending the right knee now, grab hold of that foot or ankle, just opening the right quad here. Try to keep standing straight so you open the flexor. Easy balance. And then left side, bend that knee, keep the heel in close. Try to stand as tall as you can, pointing the left knee down, opening up the quad, the hip flexor. And back to Samastitihi. Now bending both knees, sit low, arms reach high, tuck the tail. I need to suck my belly in here, tilt the ribs up toward the sky and behind, and fold it all the way in. Inhale, peek out. Exhale, step or float, find chaturanga, and then cobra or upward facing. Roll all the way in and into downward facing. Kicking the right leg forward, roll the back heel. Inhale, up to warrior one. Exhale, hands frame the foot, finding chaturanga, rolling through the vinyasa in a way that suits your body. Kicking the left leg high, stepping that foot right between the hands. Let's roll the back heel down. Inhale, lift up, one chance to get in, warrior one. And exhale, hands frame this left foot, plank, chaturanga, upward facing, downward facing, setting breath. Returning, yes, to intention. Be with it. Eventually softening knees, gazing forward, and stepping or hopping to the top of your mat. Flatten the back and then fold in. Bending the knees, sit down, low, arms lift high, Utkatasana, into Samastitihi. Coming right back in, set down low, arms reach high, exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, gaze forward, preparing to step or hop, plank or chaturanga. Roll it through cobra or upward facing and into downward facing. Let's kick the right leg up, step that foot all the way between the hands, and again, rocking a little bit before we come into a lifted lunge. Inhale. Exhale, hands frame the foot. Let's straighten the right leg. Bow in for a quick forward fold, and then orient the back heel and the left hip so you can come into Trikonasana. Left arm reaches really high. You might even wrap that arm around your back. Keep tucking the right hip underneath. Just feel expansive through your heart space. What would it take to roll the heart all the way up to the ceiling? We'll bend the right knee. Take your right hand inside the foot, maybe to floor or block. If it's in your practice, go ahead, find that full bind, but don't let it close off your left shoulder. Come back to a quick Trikonasana, a quick forward fold, and slide that right leg up high, and bend the knee, stack the hip. Maybe you can come right into Wild Thing. If you didn't get there, who cares? Just open up wherever you are. Let it feel awesome for your body. Option for three-legged vinyasa, otherwise regular vinyasa. And find downward facing dog. Now kicking the left leg high, step that foot all the way to the hands, rock it quickly, and then lift right up, find lifted lunge, strong legs. Exhale, hands frame the foot, straighten that left leg, bow in for a quick forward fold, and then make it Trikonasana. Roll your back heel down, roll the right hip up, peel the arms open wide. Marvel at your openness. Your hand might be on your shin here, maybe a block. You might grab yogi toes, whatever. It could be on fingertips. Go where you need to go. You might wrap the right arm around your back. Trico, love it. And bend your left knee. Take your left hand inside somewhere to floor or block. If you have the full bind, go for it. Don't let it close off your shoulder. Keep tilting the heart up to the ceiling. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Strong legs, strong legs. Unravel. Quick trick. Quick fold. Suck that left leg up, three-legged dog. Stack the hip, bend the knee. Maybe come right into wild thing. Or just stay in that stacked hip stretch and downward facing. Option for three-legged vinyasa. Or regular vinyasa. Or even stepping right to downward facing dog. Meeting here. Bend the knees. Gaze forward, step or hop it to the top of your mat. Bow for the fold, bend knees low, arms reaching high. Finish with your ut. And samastitihi. Release, relax. Coming back to this balance, we'll bend the right knee and grab hold of the inside of the foot or maybe even the ankle. Coming into dancers, kind of tilting a little bit forward, reaching far out with that left hand. If you're really flexible, grab somewhere on the shin. And just take it where you can. Try to keep the hips square. If you fall, you must dance. Embarrassingly, shamelessly. Go for it. Go for it. Oh, yeah. Or not. Oh, boy. Recentering. Shifting weight to the right foot, find a drishti. Take your hand to the inside of the foot, ankle, maybe even shin. Tilt a little bit forward, trying to keep the hips square as you lift the left leg. Kick it back, kick it back. Try to straighten it as you reach forward. Put some pressure on the left hand. Go where it needs to go. If you fall out, feel joyful. Who cares? Dance it around, shake it around, tilt, tilt, tilt. Oot, doop, doop, doop-a-doo-doop. You might take hands to your low back. Try to tilt the sacrum down. Just one arm at a time. Stretch the arm back. So often when you're doing back bends, it's that your arms, your lats, your triceps aren't quite open. Sometimes it isn't your back at all. But bend the knees a little bit. Shift weight forward, forward, forward as you tilt back. Be daring. Maybe even use a wall, but above all, be safe. And then feel free. Reach it tall, tall, tall. Shake the hips side to side. Feel loose. And we'll adjust here. Coming back to the top of the mat, hands at heart center. Coming back to a quick dancers. Grab hold of your right foot or ankle and use it just really as a transition to get into warrior 3. Arms wherever you want them, maybe wide, maybe alongside your body, even out in front of you, arms along the ears if you can. Go for 3 or 4 breaths there and then take your hands to the mat. Go for a quick standing split. Kick your right leg as high as it will possibly go. And we'll do a handstand vinyasa here. Just kick as high as you possibly can and see if you can hop that left foot to the back of the mat. Yours might be little hops. Who cares? You might hold your handstand way longer than I did. Fantastic. And we'll finish stepping or hopping to the top of the mat. Bow for forward fold and inhale up to stand. Reach it tall, tall. Hands into the heart. And shift around. Find equal standing feet. Send the sacrum down, fan it wide, and then dare yourself to bow back. No more forward folds. Let's go back. Bent knees a little bit. Shift the weight forward as you send your spine backward. Head is heavy. Maybe walking your hands down your legs. Go for a safe but kind of daring back bend there. And come back up. Tall, tall. Reach it, shake it out, shake it out. Coming into a second quick dancers, really just to find that transition into warrior 3. Eventually hands to the mat. Lift the left leg high and use it to come into your handstand vinyasa. Bent right knee, bounce up, high up with that left foot. Come into a quick handstand or not, just hop the right foot to the back of the mat. Get to where you can and meet in downward facing, soft knees, step or hop to the top of the mat and lay it all the way down on your back. If you like, you can take hands to knees and bring knees in circles away from each other. Try not to let your hips help, it feels nice. We'll take a couple easy twists, letting the knees fall to the right, gaze left. And then we'll let the knees fall left as we gaze right, planting both shoulder blades. Just loosening up the back here, preparing for a couple of back bends. And these can really be back bends of your choice, but I'm going to hit bridge first. So planting feet when you're ready, hips distance apart. You can root down through heels, lift up through hips, interlace fingers, roll the shoulder blades together. Really, really squeeze there. Only if you want to take it deeper, you can try this. Keep just your elbows on the ground, grab hold of your low back. You can even come into Urdhva Dhanurasana from bridge. And when you're ready, you can come down. You can choose a second back bend. Really take what you're working on. If you've taken Urdhva Dhanurasana, might feel nice to practice lifting a leg at a time, get them as high up as you want. If you've got the stand, you can stand. If you don't worry about it. I actually do have a video on how to practice that. You can check it out on my channel if you like. And if you're still on your back, you can roll the knees like side to side, windshield wipe them. And then we'll prepare for a second back bend. So again, take the back bend of your choosing. You can start on the floor, you could start standing, you could even start at the wall. Try to walk your hands back. But either bridge or Urdhva Dhanurasana, take your time. Once you get in, go for 5, maybe even 10 breaths. And I'll be quiet for a little bit here, let you work on it. Be sure to release your hips and low back as we prepare for crow practice here. And once you're ready for it, we'll take feet about hips distance, hands shoulder distance. Trying to tuck your knees as high up in the armpits as you possibly can. You can get a blanket in front of you, a block in front of you if you're still working on tilting forward enough to take off. But if you've got Bakasana pretty easily, try to straighten your arms, look forward, get the heels close to the buttocks, and then maybe you'll set the head down on the ground and go for tripod headstand. So if you're still practicing crow, go ahead and keep practicing crow. If you'd like to add an inversion here, now's a nice time. You could come into headstand at the wall. We'll do a little playtime if you're working on any tricks, go for it. One I like to do is tuck my knees back into my armpits and come back into crow. We'll be happy with whatever our own practice looks like. We're all at different parts of our journey. Eventually we'll take a vinyasa and make our way back to downward facing dog. And then step all the way through to lay down on your back. So on your back, you can hug the right knee in towards your chest, squeeze it to the outside of the rib cage, and then eventually straighten that leg. Grab somewhere behind it, keep it straight, lift your head and chest for a moment, get that split stretch. Eventually grab your foot with the right hand, let the leg go wide. If you've got a strap and you'd rather do it, take a strap around your foot, you can do that. And cross the leg all the way to the left. Get both shoulder blades on the ground if possible. Get heavy, feel the release in your spine. And come back to center. Pull the leg in one more time, lift head and chest, and we'll switch. Squeezing that left knee in toward the rib cage, just the outside. Eventually straightening the leg. If you have a strap, you could use that. Otherwise, if you're very flexible, grab somewhere behind your foot or somewhere behind the leg. Straighten and lift the head and chest, squeeze in. Keep rooting down with the right leg. And then we'll let the left leg go wide. So keep hold with your left hand, whether on the ankle, shin, foot, or holding a strap. Gaze over to the right, planting both shoulder blades. Release. And then lift your leg back to center, cross it over to the right side. Plant both shoulder blades down and gaze left. Get heavy. Good time to let go, let the practice kind of settle into your system. And then take the leg back to center. And we're going to practice some core now. Lift the legs up and interlace behind the head and neck. I'm just lifting the tail. If you want to add the switch kick, you can. So take one leg in, opposite elbow to the knee. Lift, lift, squeeze, lift, squeeze. It's just the tail lifting. All the action is there. It's engaging the low belly. I'm going to keep it going. And then maybe make bigger scissor kicks. Keep lifting. Lift a little higher. Lift a little higher. A little bit of abdominal work in your yoga practice. Go for as long as you can. Take the rest if you need it. Otherwise, come to a close very, very soon. And rest all the way on your back. Time to find Shavasana. So let the legs get wide. Let the toes splay outward. Let your shoulders be heavy, the palms face up. After that abdominal work especially, it can feel so nice just to let go. Feel the abdominals softening now. Let your face soften. And we'll take this time not to plan, not to even reflect, but just to be here, ridding ourselves of the illusion that we are somehow separate. Feel totally connected, a part of the world, a part of the earth, the universe. And in that knowledge, let a calm wash over you. Be sure to give yourself several minutes. Breathing in more deeply. Begin to make movements, waking up in a way that feels right to you. I'm going to finish here with one more back bend just because it stretches out my tummy. We've done the abdominal work. Now we can stretch out however it feels right and it feels good. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a wonderful week. And namaste. See you again.